Huoying+Chaoduo female sign, plus a Sakura black do not enter, plus a magic modified plot characters, plus a crossing, plus system, plus savior protagonist anyway, that's all about it. Night Star, who was struck to death by lightning, was reincarnated into the world of Naruto. Born with 3 abilities: unlimited spell, theft, and frozen fruit. At the age of 3, he acquired a black-hearted penguin system and embarked on an invincible path. For book writing, either single or none. Since there are more than one, don't set up any memorial archway. Pure lovers don't exist. Authors driven by interests, please feel free to do everything yourself. Chapter 1. Reincarnation Hokage. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Concept image of the protagonist, AI synthesis, for reference only, 995. 996, 997. 998, 999. Outside Muyin Village. On a tree trunk in the big forest, a white-haired little boy is constantly pulling himself up, even if he is sweating profusely and his back is flushed, he never stops, and his mouth is still making a milky number sound. Night Star, originally an ordinary office worker on Earth, was reborn in this world one night after being struck by lightning while standing under a tree urinating. After completing 1,000 pulled-up Night Stars, they jumped down from the tree trunk and leaned against the tree to look at the blue sky, recalling the time of reincarnation in their minds. What? Just because I irrigated a tree, he struck me with lightning. Night Star looked at the woman in front of him who claimed to be a fairy with great dissatisfaction. They all said it was an accident, force majeure. Who made you stand under a tree in thunderstorm weather? Didn't your teacher teach you when you were in elementary school? The woman, who claimed to be a fairy, looked at Night Star with great disdain, as if the pea had fallen on her, constantly fanning her nose with her hands. Although that's the case, Night Star is very unwilling. He just bought a Mercedes-Benz C260L and died before he could fully enjoy driving it. A beautiful life has just begun. Okay. Since it was an accident, I'll compensate you and give you a chance to reincarnate. Don't say I'm unreasonable. Upon hearing these words, Night Star instantly transformed into a different image, looking at the female fairy with a pussy on her face and saying, "Sister Fairy, I was wrong just now. I shouldn't have offended Sister Fairy. Can I choose the world on my own? Can you compensate me with some golden fingers or give me a system? You have too many demands, but it's not that I can't agree to them. Let's call out a few more, immortal sister, to listen first." Being looked at like this by the Night Star, the immortal sister was very satisfied. In this world where she no longer believes in the existence of immortals, being praised by humans like this is very rare, and there are not many incense offerings left. Well, Sister Immortal, I want to reincarnate anime. For example, the new Sister Demon King, the Demon College, reply to the Warlock, and come to the system by the way. The Night Star shouted loudly. Oh. Anime, but the world you mentioned seems to be next door. I'll send you there. So, Night Star was slapped to the sky and met a goddess who claimed to be the Moon Reader. Then, he was slapped to the underworld and met Izanami. The person mentioned by the 9 Heavenly Empress is you. Alright, I'll give you a chance to reincarnate. Just as Izanami was about to make a move, Yixing quickly reached out his hand and shouted to stop. Wait. Don't slap me anymore, what about my system? System? What system? What kind of thing is that? Izanami didn't even understand what the Night Star was referring to as a system. Obviously, there was no such type of system on their side, and system writing was only available in Chinese. It's something like a golden finger, like in a game. That kind of. Night Star thought for a while but couldn't figure out how to compare it. However, Izanami seemed to understand and said, in short, it's just a game cheat, right? Yes, there are. Recently, there are many neon high school students who have been reincarnated into a different world. They all have some special skills, so what do you want? Can you still choose? Hahaha, then I'll take everything. As soon as Yixing finished speaking, she was slapped by Xie Nami and said, "You disrespectful person. I am the goddess of the underworld. Do you want to stay on the other side of the underworld forever to accompany me? You are only allowed to choose 3. Suddenly, countless small round balls emitting colorful light appeared in front of Night Star. Night Star didn't know which one to choose, so he randomly grabbed 3 in his hand. Goddess, I have chosen it. After being scared by Yi Xie's beauty, Yixing dared not speak recklessly. It would be bad if she were really left behind. Well, then reincarnation. After speaking, Izanami slapped Night Star again and fanned him into a world with ninjas. Memories come to an end. Night Star gritted his teeth as he thought of those despicable gods and couldn't help but slap his thigh fiercely. Damn it, aren't the 9 heavenly empresses and the goddess of the underworld all office workers like me? They're pulling like 2 to 5 to 8,000, and even the promised system won't be given to me. Li. I originally wanted to come and see how you're doing, but I didn't expect you to scold me from behind. It seems that this system can't give you. Suddenly, Night Star heard the voice of the 9 heavenly empress in his mind. He was shocked and looked around, but did not find the presence of the 9 heavenly empress. However, since she could hear the sound, the 9 heavenly empress must be looking at her. Yixing quickly knelt on the ground and kowtowed repeatedly, "Sister Immortal, I was wrong. I was just cursing the goddess of the underworld. As a fairy of our country, you cannot abandon me, a loyal believer." The 9 heavens Xuannu pursed her lips, feeling very skeptical of Night Star's words. However, the system was also prepared and it was useless to keep it. I trust you once. The system is ready. Because you want to reincarnate into this anime world, the system is also anime. I can give it to you, but you should pray for me at least once a month. Is there a system? Upon hearing the words of the 9 heavenly empress, Yixing quickly agreed, saying that it was just a prayer. This kind of thing was often done before, and people cannot believe in any god, but the god of wealth still needs to be worshipped. After Night Star agreed to her request, the 9 heavenly empress waved her hand and a lightning bolt fell directly on Night Star's forehead, before disappearing into this world. A year on earth, a day in heaven, 12 times a day, isn't that too much? Thinking of this, the 9 heavenly empress laughed and finally had a long-term believer. On the ground the Night Star, who had been struck by lightning, was smoking at the corner of his mouth, and his beautiful mood suddenly plummeted to the bottom. It's lightning strike again. What evil have I done? By the way. System, let me take a look. Night Star immediately thought of the system, and then his mind turned, and a transparent light curtain appeared in front of him. This is a system which has countless anime things. It should be like this. Night Star found that this is a shopping mall. What things to buy? In addition, there is only one function to store things. The purchase of items in the system mall requires something called reincarnation coins, and there is no indication of how to obtain this reincarnation coin. Isn't this a scam? Damn it, forget it, let's see if we can recharge first. After speaking, Yixing took out the money earned from working in the village this month, held it in his palm, and crazily used his mind to recharge the system. The result really succeeded. My grass. Penguin system, you. Aren't you openly making money from incense? Night Star shouted towards the sky, but the 9 heavenly empress who had already left did not hear it, and even if she did, she would ignore it. According to the author's urinary habits, it will definitely become a harem text. By the way, when you come across me in your bookstore, you can long press to choose to block or not be interested, as the rest is toxic. Chapter 2. First Battle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Night Star, a reincarnated person who was killed by thunder, was sent to the anime world by the ninth heaven Zuanv. I obtained 3 golden fingers from the goddess of the underworld and a system from the 9 heavenly empress. The world of Naruto. Night Star carefully recalled his childhood memories, and the plot of Naruto was only a rough idea, while he was just a child born on the night of the 9 tails. Both parents were ninjas who sacrificed their lives to protect the villagers during the 9-tailed night, so Night Star became an orphan. Because the Kiba orphanage did not have a director, Night Star was not sent to the orphanage, but was adopted by a ninja. I am 3 years old now and usually come to the river outside the village to exercise when I have nothing to do. This system is a bit unscrupulous. I won't use it for now. A Sharingan actually costs 10 million reincarnation coins. How many years of work do I have to work for 10 million to earn it? It's sold separately, why not synthesize the entire fragments? Yixing looked at his empty wallet and felt very uncomfortable. He probably will be hungry tonight. Red Bean's sister often has tasks and is not at home. What should she do? Sigh, suddenly, Night Star thought of the skill he had obtained from the goddess of the underworld. Stealing can be done by stealing something from someone or something from a distance, and if targeted at women, there is a high probability of getting a weight gain. Then Night Star shook his head again and said, "No, no, this is a crime. We must not do it, refuse to steal, start from me." In addition to this useless stealing skill, Night Star also has 2 more powerful abilities. One is the flawless version of the frozen fruit of the neighboring pirate king, and the other is the skill of the ceiling of the neighboring spell world, an unlimited spell. These 2 abilities are quite good, at least they allow me to survive in this world, etc. There is no limit to the spell, I can go catch fish and eat like Naruto. Do whatever you say, and the Night Star who came up with a solution quickly ran towards the river. This is a great ability to catch fish. In a river outside Kiba village, Night Star wandered in the water wearing only 1 pair of underwear, and the Night Star without 6 eyes could only be found with the naked eye. After finally finding a plump grass carp, the Night Star moved, but the fish was so agile in the water that the Night Star couldn't catch up at all. Grass, you still want to run. Ice Age. Night Star is in a hurry. This is his own dinner, so it's impossible to let it go like this. Instead, he decided to freeze this water area directly. In the blink of an eye, the plump grass carp was frozen and unable to move. It just had to be taken out, and Night Star felt a bit exhausted. So, no lower bound spell, move forward in the technique. Tsang. Under infinite gravity, the entire ice surface was instantly destroyed, countless ice blocks hit, and the grass carp was also sucked into the air. Stealing. Night Star grabbed it with both hands, and a grass carp came from the ice to Night Star's chest. There was no way, and the child couldn't grab it with 1 hand. Ha! You're the one who used all my cheats to catch you. Do you think you're Huoying? Night Star pressed the grass carp to the ground and slapped him hard. With the continuous efforts of Night Star, a grass carp was killed alive by Night Star. Night Star used an ice skate to cut the fish in half, used theft to remove the fish's internal organs and bones, and then found a wooden stick to cut into a string. When Night Star was busy, it was already dark. Next is fire escape. What? Yixing slammed his head hard and said, I don't seem to know how to escape fire. I haven't learned anything at all. By the way, take a look at the system mall, said Yixing as he opened the system and searched for the word fire. Immediately after, a pile of densely packed items were arranged, and Night Star found the cheapest fire escape, but it also earned 500,000 reincarnation coins, and the one he had just recharged was less than 1,000 yuan. According to the current world's currency exchange for reincarnated coins, 1 yuan is equivalent to 1 yuan, and if Night Star had 500,000, there was no need to catch fish and eat here. There's no way, Night Star can only lower their requirements and spent 500 yuan to buy a lighter. Ah, a single penny won't defeat a hero. Just as Night Star was preparing to light a fire and roast fish, two figures were moving in the woods not far away. Just by looking at the shadows, Night Star knew that one of them was holding on to a child. My grass! Yixing cursed inwardly, quickly put down his lighter and chased after him. In broad daylight, he dared to kidnap and sell children. As a young man under the red flag, Yixing naturally couldn't bear to see such a thing happen. Big brother, it seems that someone is chasing after us from behind. Nonsense, this is Mu Ye's territory. Isn't it normal for someone to chase after you? Just ignore it and leave the Fire Kingdom quickly. But, big brother, does that figure seem like a child? Upon hearing these words, the ninja who was holding onto the little girl looked stern and said, since it's a child, let's take care of him. We must not be discovered. Immediately after, the two of them stopped on a tree, each taking out two swords from their ninja bags and throwing them directly at the Night Star. Because it was too dark, Night Star didn't notice someone throwing a sword at him, only seeing the other person stop. Two scumbags who abducted and sold children, why didn't they run away? Just as Night Star was about to activate the Spitfire mode, the four swords in his hand were inserted into his chest. However, Night Star was not injured, and the naturalization of the frozen fruit had become passive to Night Star. This small physical attack was naturally useless. Okay, we're done with it, let's withdraw. Where do you want to withdraw? Night Star chuckled. This was the first battle of his past and present lives. How could Night Star let the other person escape? In just that moment, Night Star had already surrounded the two with ice. Blood succession boundary. I've never heard of the blood succession boundary where Mu Yi has an ice escape. Little ghost, who are you? Unlimited spell, technique reversal H. Night Star was too lazy to talk to the other person, so he reached out his hands and rubbed a small red ball with his index finger. At the same time, two red lasers shot out, accurately hitting the center of their eyebrows, and the two ninjas died on the spot. And Hinata, who was already unconscious, fell from the tree. Night Star immediately rushed over and kicked the bodies of the two of them away, while holding on to the fallen Hinata with both hands. This face, this hairstyle, seems to be Hinata. Night Star frowned slightly as she hugged Hinata. How could the daughter of the Hinata clan's patriarch be kidnapped by the two weak ninjas? Casually removing the surrounding ice, Night Star was preparing to send the field back when suddenly a middle-aged man flashed up in front of him. Thank you for saving Hinata. I am Hinata, the father of this child. Give her back to me. Seeing Hinata's father coming, Night Star didn't say anything and returned Hinata directly to Hinata. Just as he was about to go back and grill fish, he was stopped by the other party. Child, what's your name? The ninjutsu just now seemed very powerful, it could instantly kill two ninjas. Yixing turned his head slightly and immediately saw the other person's two white eyes, suddenly realizing that the scene just now had been seen by Hinata Higashi. My name is Yixing and I am an orphan. Yusho Zaihongdu adopted me. As for the ninjutsu I just had, it was my innate ability. Upon hearing this, Hinata was secretly shocked that the power to instantly kill two ninjas was innate. It seemed that he was the owner of the blood inheritance limit, but fortunately, the Night Star was not an enemy. Well, being young is already remarkable. Thank you again for saving Hinata. I hope you can become famous in the ninja world in the future. After saying these words, Hinata held Hinata and left. However, as she left, Hinata slowly opened her tightly closed eyes and vaguely saw a white-haired doll, small and as big as herself. Chapter 3 Naruto and Hinata. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At least I saved your daughter too. Not to mention giving me some benefits, I wouldn't even treat me to a meal. Returning to my own grilled fish spot, the night chart sat on the ground and began my life of grilled fish. However, I still feel unhappy in my heart. Why do I have to barbecue fish myself after being a good person? Okay, since that's the case, I'll go talk to Hinata tomorrow and have a chat. If there's no thank you, I'll fight for it myself. Thinking of this, Yixing couldn't help but feel a bit confused. His mind was filled with images of a field in his arms. Unconsciously, Yixing fell asleep with a pig-like face leaning against a big tree. In the next few days, when Night Star had free time during the day, he went to the vicinity of the Hinata clan to make friends with Hinata. He simply made friends, but did not see Hinata come out for a walk. It seems that Hinata has been abducted, and the Hinata clan has become wary and won't let Miss come out to play. Forget it, everything depends on fate. Night Star hasn't seen Hinata for several days in a row, and the energy in his heart has dissipated by half. If he has this spare time, he should think about how to make money or exercise. So Yixing didn't wander around the vicinity of the Hinata clan, but instead began his disciplined life. In the morning, he carried a heavy load and ran for exercise, went to work at a barbecue restaurant at noon, continued to practice his skills in the afternoon, and continued to work at a barbecue restaurant at night. Time flies, half a year has passed. It's already winter now, and even the warm climate of the fire country is beginning to snowflake. The places where Night Stars exercise are usually snowed out white, and the surface of the river has already been covered with a thin layer of ice. Although it is very thin, it is enough to bear the weight of Night Stars. At this moment, Night Star is doing push-ups on the ice surface, and this level of ice is not worth mentioning for Night Star, a person with frozen fruit abilities. After more than half a year, Night Star's body has developed very obvious muscle lines. In addition to developing fruit abilities, there is also a space of unlimited power with no lower limit spells, which is the barrier that isolates the infinite. Night Star has also become passive. Of course, it is possible to lift it, otherwise Night Star would not be able to kiss and hug girls. The current Night Star can be said to be a very powerful ninja, although he doesn't know ninjutsu. For most of the year, Yuzhibo washed Red Bean and often came back. Apart from giving Night Star some money, there was basically nothing. Night Star wanted Red Bean to teach him ninjutsu, but Red Bean said that his ninjutsu was not suitable for you. Isn't it just playing with snakes? Night Star has known for a long time, but there's no way. Red Bean is unwilling to teach, and he can't force it himself. It's almost lunchtime, it's time to go work. Yixing put on his clothes and walked towards my village. However, while passing by a park, Yixing saw 3 little boys surrounding a little girl. Although the distance was quite far, Night Star still heard one of the little boys talking about a white-eyed monster or something. Yixing was immediately taken aback and said, "Isn't this Hinata? Fate is here. Don't panic, Hinata. I'm here for my husband." Night Star immediately rushed towards Hinata, but before Night Star arrived, a yellow-haired boy rushed towards Hinata and wanted to stop this bullying behavior. However, Naruto, who is still young, has no strength at all and cannot defeat the 3 boys. "Who are you? I advise you not to meddle in your own business. We're playing with each other, so hurry to the side," said one of the little boys. However, Naruto did not believe that the bullying behavior of these children was just for fun, and had no intention of retreating. "My name is Naruto Vortex, and you are bullying people. I will not let go." "Well, then I'll beat you out of the way," said the passerby, and the boy with a punch hit Naruto's cheek. Naruto was so nervous that his eyes were tightly closed. It only took a while for him to realize that he had not been hit. He opened his eyes and saw a white-haired boy blocking him in front of him, and he held the opponent's fist with one hand. "3 little brats, you guys go up together, don't say I'm bullying you." Night Star gently pushed and passerby A was pushed back, then put on a posture and prepared to teach the 3 of them a lesson. "Who are you again? Do you also want to be beaten up?" Passerby A remained arrogant, but Night Star didn't want to waste time. He just rushed over and rewarded each of the three with a big mouth. At this moment, all three passers-by were beaten and cried, quickly crying and going back to find their mother. Okay. So amazing. What's your name? My name is Naruto Vortex. Upon hearing the sound, Yixing turned around and found Naruto looking at him with a worshipful gaze. Yixing shook his hair in a very unpleasant manner and said, My name is Yixing. If you want to be as strong as me, exercise is indispensable. Youth, do you need to exercise? With just 99,888 yuan, you can handle 1,000 armies and horses with one hand like me. Upon hearing these series of numbers, Naruto awkwardly smiled and said, It's so expensive. I don't have money. Night Star just smiled at this. Just now, he was just teasing Naruto. Ignoring Naruto, Night Star looked back at Hinata crouching in a daze. I saw Hinata staring at her face with a silly gaze, with some crystal-clear tears remaining at the corners of her eyes, which couldn't help but make people feel heartbroken and want to take care of this young girl. Like a doll. Handsome. Hinata muttered in a low voice, and when it came to the word handsome, she blushed to the point where she lowered her head and dared not look at the Night Star. Her voice dropped to the extreme, and she couldn't even hear the Night Star. Night Star crouched down in front of Hinata and carefully observed if he was injured. Doll. What doll? By the way, are you okay? They didn't hit you, did they? At the same time, Naruto also ran over and said, Shouldn't you be injured? Hinata lifted her head and shook her head to look at the Night Star. I'm fine, thank you. My name is Hinata, she said, That's good, then I'm ready to go work. Let me treat you to barbecue. Yixing helped Hinata up and held her hand while looking at Naruto. When Naruto heard that Yixing was going to treat him to barbecue, he immediately smiled brightly like a chrysanthemum and said, Really? I heard that barbecue is very expensive. Lord Hinata. Lord Hinata. At this moment, a voice came from the Hinata clan of ninjas. Seeing Hinata here, they immediately rushed over, pulled Hinata away, and glanced at Naruto. You guys go eat barbecue, my family has come to pick me up. Hinata turned back and said goodbye to Yixing and Naruto, but her eyes were full of reluctance. Hinata didn't dare to tell anyone that he ran out to search for the doll he saw half a year ago. At that time, he heard his father say thank him for saving him. But even if he found this doll-like boy, Hinata didn't dare to express his feelings, just kept it hidden in his heart. Seeing that Hinata had already walked away, Yixing sighed helplessly and said, Since Hinata is not going, why don't you come with me? Why don't you work at the barbecue restaurant with me? However, Naruto lowered his head and said, No, it's better not to go. Adults all hate me, and I can't work like you to earn money. I'm afraid of chicken feathers, so I'll let you go. You can just wear a mask and become a waiter. Although we're still children, children can attract female customers. If a female customer wants to eat grilled meat, her husband will come along. Do you understand the store manager's strategy? After speaking, Yixing didn't care whether Naruto wanted it or not. He forcefully pulled Naruto to the barbecue restaurant and forced him to wear a small apron, giving him a Kakashi-style face mask. Chapter 4. Duel with Red Bean. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 5. Seeing, Hearing, Colorful Dominance, and Spiritual Techniques. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Returning home, Red Bean looked at Night Star sitting on the ground with a helpless expression in his eyes. Xiaoxing, tell me honestly, what kind of ninjutsu was that you just learned? Where did you learn it from? Or was it your blood inheritance limit? Anyway, Night Star didn't intend to hide it, so he told Red Bean Ming, Sister Hui, I accidentally used it while exercising. I guess it should be blood inheritance limit and ice escape, so I think I have the ability to go to ninja school. Red Bean nodded and thought to himself that it was the same thing. Night Star grew up watching him grow up. Back then, Night Star cried in the ruins of the delivery room at Kiba Hospital. It seemed like a newborn child, and it could never be a spy from another village. If it weren't for the words, Night Star, beside her at that time, she would have wanted to name Night Star Yusho Zichuanzi. Now looking at Yixing's serious expression, Red Bean sighed lightly and said, "Ah, since you want to go to ninja school so much, then you can sign up when the new year starts." After hearing Red Bean's agreement, Yixing was so excited that she jumped up and threw herself directly at Red Bean, saying, "Thank you, sister. I love you. Alright, hurry back to your room and go to sleep." "Alright. Good night, Red Bean sister." Looking at the happy appearance of Night Star, Red Bean couldn't help but smile and said, "This stinky little devil has grown up." As soon as Night Star grew up, Red Bean thought of what Night Star had said at the barbecue restaurant before. There was no reason to feel excited in his heart, but he also felt a bit shy. Thinking about wanting everything, it's not serious. There was nothing to say overnight. As the new year arrived, Red Bean gave Night Star a big red envelope early on and took Night Star to visit the Shiri family. In no time, Night Star received several red envelopes with blessings, but in fact, they were not considered red envelopes at all. After all, they were not red at all. They were all colorful, but not red. With so much New Year's money and what I usually save, it's time to recharge. I need to find an excuse to slip away, Night Star thought to herself. Turning his eyes to Red Bean, he noticed that Red Bean was eating rice cake and meatballs with Red Bean. Yixing felt that the opportunity had come and immediately shouted at Red Bean sister, Red sister, I'm going to play with friends. Come back early. Red Beans were already addicted to eating and didn't even glance at the Night Star. They just waved their hand. Night Star, who had received approval, ran into a small forest with a huge sum of money in his hand and directly charged it into the system without saying a word. After recharging, Night Star planned to buy a weapon and immediately searched for it, only to find that a bunch of weapons were outrageously expensive, all over 1,000,000 yuan, with the most expensive ones directly exceeding 10 billion yuan, which seemed to be the kind that could destroy the world. There's no way, Night Star can only search in poverty-stricken areas, but after searching for a long time, I couldn't find anything I like. It seems that we can only fight with our fists, then buy something else. Then Night Star picked up the world category again and clicked on the One Piece world category. Junior Domineering and Domineering, 100,000 reincarnated coins. Junior Armed Color Domineering, 80,000 reincarnated coins. Beginner Level Aura, 80,000 reincarnation coins. Night Star has chosen these three, but in hesitation, I don't know which one is better. If you buy the Domineering and Domineering, you won't have any money left. If you buy the other two, you'll still have 20,000 left. Perhaps you can buy something else. Junior Overlord Color, besides being able to intimidate miscellaneous fish, is basically useless. Junior Armed Color, except for hard points, is also of little use. It's quite useful, but I have fruit ability and unlimited spells. So, it's up to you. See and hear about the Overlord Color. Make up your mind. Night Star clicks to purchase with your mind, and the amount of 100,000 instantly turns into 20,000. Night Star's heart is dripping with blood. There's still 20,000, buy something else. Then Night Star withdrew from the One Piece world and clicked into the Naruto world. Let's choose you, it's cheap. As the words fell, the reincarnation coin was cleared to 0, and a spiritual contract appeared in front of Night Star. Without hesitation, Night Star cut his finger and signed his name. This is a random teleportation contract, mainly to see which teleportation beast is willing to accept the recruitment of Night Star. After signing the name, the spiritual contract disappeared, and at the same time, a spiritual contract appeared in the three holy sites of Miaomu Mountain, Shirgu Forest, and Longdi Cave. But the animals didn't pay any attention at all. After 10 minutes, Night Star frowned. Why hasn't the spirit beast responded yet? At the same time, in another world, in a corner, a woman with horns looked at the contract in front of her, hesitated for a moment, and then agreed to the spiritual contract. The next second, all other spiritual contracts disappeared, leaving only one. Successfully. Why do I feel like I can't even telepathize? Anyway, give it a try first. Then Night Star's hands formed a seal and slammed onto the ground with force. With a bang, a mini version of the woman appeared on his shoulder. Yixing looked carefully and rubbed his eyes, unable to believe that he had telepathized and made a move. I have responded to your call, I am your mother. Oh no, that's a duty, my name is Tiamat. Are you surprised? Humans, please be happy. Be a good child. Upon hearing Tiamat's voice, Night Star was startled and said, I dropped a mom. It's not a handmade one, it's real, even though it's just a mini version. Tiamat smiled directly and immediately touched Night Star's cheek when he heard her say the word mother. Okay, good kid. The Night Stars are full of black lines, and roast in his heart. Be good boy, if you are older, my filial piety will deteriorate. But then again, anime has anime god. What if I channeled the 9th day Zunf? Then take the 9th day Zunf to the 3rd day of the 9th day Zunf to worship. The Night Star couldn't help laughing at the thought, but it thought so. The Night Star thought that the 3rd dimension god was better than the anime. After all, the anime was created by the 3rd dimension people, not in one dimension at all, and the strength was certainly not a single dimension. Tiamat saw the little one laughing so happily, and his face immediately blushed. Now it was the little one who needed him, not like Sumerian rebels, running away from him like crazy. Shit, I will always be by your side. Oh, okay, mother, I will never leave you, and I will always love you. Night Star suddenly remembered that Tiamat in front of her was a mother who lacked love, and there was no divine representation here, which was very suitable for Tiamat to exist in this world. Tiamat was about to say something when he turned into a cloud of white smoke and disappeared. Yixing was stunned for a moment, only then did he understand that psychic arts also have time limits. However, this teleportation time is too short, isn't it? Is it the reason for teleportation in another world? No wonder long-distance phone bills are always so expensive. Today's harvest is quite good, and Night Star is also very satisfied. The spiritual time has passed, so it's enough to spiritual again after a period of time. Night Star feels that their spiritual cooling time should be about 6 hours, 4 times a day, and the existence time should be about half an hour. Chapter 6. Yuzhibo Spring. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After leaving the grove, Yexing came to Naruto's home and rang the doorbell. Naruto, who looked sad, opened the door. When he found it was Yexing, his face was filled with happiness. Yexing. How did you come here? Did you have dinner? I will treat you to ramen noodles. No, ramen noodles won't be needed. Happy New Year, here's a red envelope for you. Then the Night Star took out a red envelope and threw it to Naruto. And Naruto, who received the red envelope, immediately shed tears and looked at Yixing with red eyes, saying, Thank you. This is the first time someone has given me New Year's money. Yixing was taken aback for a moment, not realizing that he was the first person to give Naruto a red envelope. Haven't Sandai Huoying ever come to see Naruto? Thinking of this, Yixing's expression froze. Upon hearing this, he unleashed his domineering aura and discovered that there was only a masked person nearby staring at him. It seemed that he was a member of the dark side. Night Star's disgust towards the third generation Hokage suddenly increased, which is how he treated the hero's son. Let's go play with me. There's a fireworks display tonight. Upon hearing these words, Naruto immediately jumped up and said, Wow. Wow. Watching Naruto's happy expression, Yixing couldn't help but sigh that it was indeed a child's nature, and his face also wore a slight smile. Next, Yixing took Naruto and him to go shopping and play. At night, he took Naruto home and had rice cakes with red beans. After finishing the rice cakes, he went to see the fireworks. This is also the first time Naruto has felt the warmth of home and the feeling of friends. The new year has passed, and Red Bean has taken Night Star to register for the ninja school. Night Star has finally taken the first step towards the path of ninjas. Led to the classroom by the teacher, Night Star began to introduce herself. Good morning everyone, my name is Yixing. I love dating and hate people who don't let me fall in love. My future dream is to have a group of wives and concubines, invincible in the world. That's all. As soon as Yixing said this, he was immediately ridiculed by a group of classmates. What about dating? This is a ninja school. Playboy, how annoying. Invincible in the world. This guy is really interesting, huh? At the same time, the teacher lightly patted Yixing's head and said, "Cough, Yixing, having a dream is a good thing, but you can't do anything bad." Night Star didn't take it seriously at all, but looked at the back of the classroom and said, "Teacher, where am I sitting?" The teacher looked at it and then pointed to a position next to a girl in the back, saying, "Yixing, you can sit there. You are a new student and may not have studied some courses, so it's perfect for other students to teach you." Yixing didn't talk nonsense either. After seeing the direction pointed by the teacher, he walked over and immediately sat down. "Classmate, what's your name?" "The teacher asked you to teach me." "Yuzhibo, I may not have time to teach you. You'd better ask other classmates more." After being rejected by the other party, Yixing didn't think much, and he thought more about the surname Uchiha Quan. It seems that he has a crush on Uchiha Itachi. It seems that Uchiha Itachi has already graduated from school. Yuzhibo did not plan to have too much communication with Night Star, because the words introduced by Night Star made Yuzhibo somewhat dislike Night Star, although he did not show it. Quickly, the teacher began normal classes. Due to a new student, the teacher repeated the three-body technique, and today's class is about hand swordsmanship, which is an outdoor course. Students have listened to these aspects many times, but they have not yet met the qualified standards, so they did not graduate. And Yixing listened very attentively. After remembering the method of printing, he decided to skip class and practice secretly, but he had to finish this class first. Outside, there are 3 wooden stakes and targets on the playground. Each person takes turns throwing swords, with a perfect score in the center and a minimum of 6 points required to pass. Next, Yuzhibo. Upon hearing the teacher's roll call, Yuzhibo walked forward, holding a sword in his hand and throwing it vigorously. He hit all 3 shots, with a maximum score of 7. Without a doubt, Yuzhibo was already the best student in the class. 7 points, qualified. Next, Night Star. Finally, it was his turn. Night Star ran over excitedly and took 3 swords from the teacher's hand. Standing outside the line, Night Star chose to test the strength first, so the sword in the first shot missed, and it can even be said that it did not reach the distance. Ha ha ha. Yixing, didn't you say you want invincibility in the world? You can't do this. You can't even reach a distance. Okay. The tail of the crane is finally not mine. One of the classmates jumped up and shouted. Being mocked by his classmates again, Yixing felt a bit uneasy on his face and said, "What do you know? I'm just warming up, ninjas are fighting, so of course we need to test the opponent's strength first." At this moment, the teacher said to Yixing, "Alright, Yixing, hurry up. This is a wooden stake, not a real person, there's no need to test it." The teacher's words were echoed by the whole class, and each student was waiting to see a joke, that is, Yuzhibo was looking outside, not knowing what he was thinking. "Okay, then I'll show you my strength, hee hee." Night Star was a bit angry, and immediately threw a sword in his hand with force. With a swoosh, the sword in his hand was accurately shot by Night Star into the ground below the wooden stake. Without any accidents, this was once again ridiculed by a group of classmates. Unexpected, enough strength, not enough accuracy. Night Star awkwardly scratched his head and immediately prepared for the last sword in his hand. The dignity of the future lies entirely in this sword in his hand. Oh grass! Night Star shouted, and the last shot of his sword slipped out of his hand. This time, unlike the previous two, he did hit the target, only 3 points away. 3 points, not qualified, Night Star. This score was already very good for the first time. Keep working hard and work hard next time. As the teacher announced the grades, the first time Night Star threw a sword in his hand was also over. Although he only scored 3 points, Night Star is always talented, and in the future, he only needs to work hard to become a ninja. With the end of the first class, the students had a 20-minute break, and during this time, Night Star came to a corner of the playground. Looking at the iron fence in front of him, Yuzhibo charged his legs and leaped with strength, effortlessly crossing the fence to leave the school. And this scene happened to be witnessed by the scenic Yuzhibo Quan. This guy skipped class on the first day of school and doesn't look like an ordinary person. He really has some strength. After successfully skipping class, Night Star instinctively came to the place where he usually practiced, three-body technique, which was required for exams, and swordsmanship in his hand was the same. Let's practice on my own in the future, Naruto. I seem to understand the feeling of being isolated now. Surprisingly, none of my classmates are willing to teach me. It's too much. Night Star pretended to flirt for a while, then returned to normal and began practicing the three-body technique according to the teacher's instructions. However, before that, Night Star plans to pray to the nine heavens Xuannu first. Chapter 7. Upgraded System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Night Star casually took out 3 incense sticks and lit them, then inserted them on the ground. Then he tidied up his clothes, cleared his mind, and knelt devoutly on the ground. Fairy sister, I have recently developed a psychic spell. Can you tell me how to increase my psychic time? Night Star was very sincere in asking about ways to increase her teleportation time. After a while, the voice of the 9 heavenly empress reappeared in Night Star's mind. It's very simple, just recharge, spend money to upgrade your teleportation beast, or enhance your own energy. What is the name of this world? Chakra, right? Upon hearing this, Yuzhibo's face has turned black, and he is charging money again. Even if he lacks incense money, he cannot be so unscrupulous, can he? The important thing is that this unscrupulous business system has never upgraded this feature at all. Suddenly, the 9 heavens Xuannu seemed to hear the voice of the Night Star. Once again, the sky thunder fell, and the Night Star was struck by lightning. I forgot, your system is still a beta version, and now it's the official version. Alright, don't call me if it's okay. I have already completed what I promised you. After finishing these words, the 9 heavens empress disappeared, and Yuzhibo was stunned for a while before realizing it. Then he opened the system and saw what the official version looked like. However, upon opening the interface, there was a prompt to register an account, indicating that Night Star should register an account first. No way, Night Star followed the usual routine and dripped a drop of blood on the screen, successfully registering an account. Added personal information, upgraded system, randomly discounted shopping mall, adjusted product prices, system items cannot be resold, storage space expanded, system usage rights belong to Night Star, copyright belongs to 9 heavenly mysterious maiden, and yellow spring goddess. Watching a prominent announcement, the corners of Night Star's mouth couldn't help but twitch, making it look like something high-tech, clearly a mystical object. Let's see how to upgrade first. Yuzhibo was too lazy to pursue those things and directly clicked on his personal profile to check. Night Star Race. Male race age. 4 years old asset. 0 skills. Frozen fruit, thief, unlimited spell, beginner level seeing and hearing colorful dominance, and spiritual technique. Spirit beast. The primordial sea of Tiamat. A simple page with almost nothing. After seeing the plus sign behind the skills and spirit beasts, Night Star clicked in and discovered the upgrade system, which was simply a matter of spending money to upgrade. Clicking on the plus sign after the name, Night Star also saw its upgrade system, which requires 1 million reincarnation coins to level up. At present, my chakra is about 2.5 Kakashi, which should be enough for now. I can directly cultivate and upgrade skills, so let's prioritize upgrading Tiamat. However, upgrading to Tiamat is not feasible now because Night Star does not have enough funds. At the very least, it needs to become a ninja to earn money by completing missions, otherwise it will not be enough. This system is definitely a bottomless pit. Spiritual communication. Night Star's hands were imprinted, and with a strong tap, a mini figurine reappeared on Night Star's shoulder. Shit, listen to me. I originally wanted to be with you all the time, but I feel like I can't maintain my own existence. Don't hate me. As soon as Tiamat came out, he explained to Night Star the reason for his sudden disappearance last time, hoping that Night Star would not dislike him. Night Star is very clear about what's going on, and it's fundamentally her own fault. It has nothing to do with Tiamat, let alone dislike Tiamat. This is just a mother. No, how could I hate my mother? I can't even like her in time. Let's not talk about that anymore. Mother, please watch me practice. Tiamat smiled happily and said, wherever you go, I will pick you up and always protect you. As the saying goes, Night Star didn't expect Tiamat to help him anything. The appearance of this mini version made Night Star feel completely powerless. The art of clone. Night Star started practicing the clone technique, but when it was first used, only one piece of clothing was separated and there was no physical object yet, which was like a phantom. Shit, what is this? Tiamat asked, pointing to the shadow of clothes floating in the air. Night Star patiently explained to Tiamat, this is what I want to learn, the art of clone, which is using magic to turn myself into 2 people. Using magic to explain, Tiamat probably understood a little bit, but most importantly, what Night Star said about learning. I will definitely support you. Learning is a good thing for humans. Tiamat lay on the shoulder of Night Star, looking happy, thinking to himself that his child is a child who loves learning, really a good child. What are you doing? Night Star. Suddenly, the voice of Yuzhibo came from behind the Night Star. It turned out that the school had already finished classes, and Yuzhibo couldn't resist his curiosity and ran over to search for the Night Star. Yuzhibo Quan. Why are you here? Are you not attending class? Yixing turned her head and saw that it was Yuzhibo Quan, but her heart didn't fluctuate. Class has already ended, but it's you who skipped class on the first day, and the teacher was very angry. Night Star doesn't matter at all, skipping classes is not a big deal, but Tiamat looked at Yuzhibo Spring and something was wrong. Son, is she your partner? Since that's the case, I'll have to scrutinize it carefully for you. You can't, you're not allowed to date my child. Tiamat pointed to Uchiha Spring and said. Yixing was stunned, and Yuzhibo Quan was also stunned. What kind of companion, this is all about? At first, Yuzhibo thought that the doll on Night Star's shoulder was a doll, but he didn't expect to be able to speak and still look like a mother. Mother, she's not my girlfriend, don't worry, Night Star and Tiamat explained, then awkwardly glanced at Uchiha Spring. Tiamat felt that Night Star was deceiving him and continued, no, everyone outside is a bad woman. You just need a mother's love. Tiamat is very strict in her management, and no woman can take away her child. As a mother, she does not allow it, even ignoring the matter of Night Star skipping classes. Yuzhibo, with some confusion, gently pointed to Tiamat and said, "Night Star, what is this? It can still talk." Yuzhibo naturally wouldn't believe that Tiamat would be the mother of Night Star, and besides, there is no mother who doesn't look like a human, this is common sense. "You don't have to worry, she's my mother, but not the mother you think of." Night Star held Tiamat in his palm and slowly comforted him, saying a promise that even if he gets married, he won't leave his mother, which made Tiamat much more satisfied. "Shit, it's almost time. I have to go back. If you want to miss me, don't touch any bad women outside." The Night Star agreed with a full mouth, and Tiamat disappeared into this world. There were only two people left at the scene, Yixing and Yuzhibo Quan, and Yuzhibo Quan had already begun to doubt life. She couldn't figure out what kind of mother there was. Yixing sighed slightly and said, I can't explain it to you clearly. She is a beast that I came through spiritual communication with, and also a mother. Don't think too much about it. It was impolite of you just now. I'm sorry. When it comes to spiritual communication, Yuzhibo understood a general idea, but she was still a bit confused. However, she had no intention of continuing to inquire, but in Yuzhibo heart, she was already curious about the Night Star. "Are you practicing what the school teaches? I can teach you." Upon hearing Yuzhibo say he wanted to teach himself, Yixing was stunned and said, "Didn't you say you didn't have time?" Yuzhibo blushed suddenly and turned his head, afraid to look at Yixing. "Now that you have time, by the way, didn't the teacher ask me to teach you? Did you learn?" "Learn? Of course you have to learn. It's better to be taught than to explore, let alone to be taught by a beautiful woman." How could Night Star refuse? "Okay, then come with me, the place where I usually practice on my own." "Okay." In this way, Night Star followed Yuji Wave Spring to a river and began learning the most basic three-body technique. Chapter 8. Graduation. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. This year, Night Star was 6 years old. In 2 years, Yexing and Uchiha Izumi have become very good friends. In these 2 years, Yexing has also gone to play with Naruto, but they never had the chance to see Hinata. At this moment, Night Star is preparing for the exam. As long as the exam results are satisfactory, one can officially graduate and become a powerful ninja. The chief examiner is Hokage of the 3rd generation, and the one currently taking the exam is Uchiha Izumi, while Yexing is waiting outside. Not long after, Yuzhibo walked out of the examination room and Yexing immediately approached and asked, "How are you? Did you pass the exam?" Yuzhibo remained silent with a straight face, which made Yixing a little worried. Suddenly, Yuzhibo laughed loudly and said, "Ha ha ha, are you scared? I have already graduated. Damn it, it scared me to death. I thought you hadn't passed. Naughty." Yixing patted her chest and gave Yuzhibo a white look. Next, Night Star. Upon hearing the teacher call their names, Yixing and Yuzhibo greeted each other and walked into the examination room. "Oh, Night Star, you're the child adopted by Red Bean, you're so old." Ape Flying Rygian took a puff of smoke and looked at Night Star's small body, couldn't help but sigh. In terms of generation, Night Star is somewhat related to Ape Flying Sun / Deshimaru is a disciple of Ape Flying Sun / Hongdo is a disciple of Deshimaru, and Night Star is Hongdo's younger brother. In Ape Flying Sun/'s heart, Night Star is still a trustworthy person. "Yes, Lord Huoying, I am Red Bean's sister's younger brother. Can we start the exam now?" Night Star wanted to finish the exam early, but to his surprise, Monkey Flying and Sun Slaying smiled and said, "It's not urgent, it's not urgent. I heard from Red Bean that you have blood inheritance limit and ice escape. Can you show it off?" The invigilator on the side was startled when he heard these words. He never knew that he, a student who often skipped classes, had a bloodline. Night Star felt helpless and could only perform for 8 Flying Sun /. Then he pretended to seal his seal and lightly stomped the ground, instantly covering the ground with a layer of ice. 8 Flying Sun / was surprised for a moment, but at the same time, he said with joy, "Alright, Kiba has added another blood inheritance limited ninja. Night Star, I hope you can become a towering tree that supports Kiba in the future. Now you can start taking the exam." After receiving instructions, the invigilator announced the exam content to Yixing, stating that all 3 body skills must be qualified before graduation. Yixing nodded and immediately began to showcase one by one. She replicated her own appearance 1.1, transformed into a perfect replica of the invigilator's appearance, and easily completed the stunt double. This exam score is definitely perfect. Monkey Flying Sun Jean nodded satisfied and then stamped the ninja file of Night Star, asking Night Star to take a photo tomorrow and hand it over to the teacher. Starting from tomorrow, he will be a qualified ninja. "Thank you, Lord Huoying, thank you, teacher." After saying thank you, Yixing left the examination room. As 8 Flying Sun / watched Night Star leave, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Another genius who graduated early, Kakashi, Itachi, Night Star, and Kiba are about to reach their peak. At the entrance of the ninja school, Uchiha Izumi had been waiting under the tree. When he saw the Night Star coming out, he quickly ran over and said, "Night Star, how did you do on the exam? Who do you think I am?" "Of course I passed with full marks, and we will become ninjas in the future." Yixing stepped forward, raised his hands, and applauded with Uchiha Izumi to celebrate. "Let's go celebrate. I'll treat you to 3 colored meatballs." Upon hearing it was sweet again, the Night Stars were speechless. Red Beans liked sweet food, and Yuzhibo also liked sweet food. They were both tired of following them. "Why don't you go to my house? I'm the only one at home, and my sister is also at home." The first time someone invited her to home, Yuzhibo was a bit at a loss. Even Yuzhibo had not invited her. However, since Yuzhibo graduated, she has rarely seen Yuzhibo. It is said that she has already gone to the dark side. After thinking for a while, Yuzhibo still agreed. After all, Night Star was also her good friend. "I'm back, Red Bean sister." "Oh ah." Xiaoxing brought his girlfriend back. "Come on, little girl, come and let my sister take a look." Red Bean saw Night Star bringing a girl home and quickly approached to take a look. Upon hearing this, Yuzhibo face turned red and he hesitated, unable to utter a complete sentence. Yixing quickly explained, "Red Bean sister, you misunderstood. She is my classmate, and today we all graduated from ninja school. I will bring her back to celebrate together." After explaining clearly, Yuzhibo began to introduce himself to Hongdo. "Hello, Hongdo sister. I am Yuzhibo, a classmate of Yixing." Unexpectedly, upon hearing Yuzhibo self-introduction, Hongdo smiled even more and said, "Not now, but in the future. Yuzhibo, the elder family of Mai." Being teased by Hongdo like this, Yuzhibo face started to turn red again. What kind of boyfriend and girlfriend? Yixing is still just a 6-year-old child, and he himself is only an 11-year-old child. "Oh, don't tease them anymore. Go buy some groceries and come back. Today is for us to celebrate." Yixing pushed the red beans with both hands and walked towards the door, otherwise Yuzhibo would feel embarrassed to see him in the future. Yes, I won't disturb your world of 2 anymore." Red Bean smiled and walked out of the house, finally turning back and blinking at the 2, leaving Night Star speechless. After Red Bean left, Night Star apologized to Yuzhibo on behalf of Red Bean with great embarrassment. "I'm sorry, my sister has this kind of personality, but when it comes to being strict, she is also very strict." "Don't worry." Yuzhibo shook his head and said he didn't care. "It's okay, I have a question. Red Bean's sister is called Yusho Washing Red Bean, right? So why don't you have the same surname as Red Bean's sister, Night Star? Well, actually I was adopted, and on the night of the 9 tails, I happened to be born. Night Star began to mention the past and shared his experience with Yuzhibo. After listening to the story of Night Star, Yuzhibo felt a bit uncomfortable in his heart, and his liking for Night Star also increased a bit. After all, his parents also passed away that day, and it turned out that both of them had the same experience. Yixing, don't call me by my full name in the future. Call me Quan, or even Quan Jie. Yixing was stunned for a moment, thinking to himself, what's going on? Is it a tragic experience that arouses sympathy among women? Actually, just like you, on the night of the 9 tails. Yuzhibo also began to recount his experience when he was 5 years old. If it weren't for Yuzhibo's appearance that night, he might have died that night. So it's like this, okay, I'm happy. Please give me more guidance in the future, Quan. Night Star suddenly smiled and extended a hand to Quan. Quan also reached out his hand and clasped it with Yixing, saying, please give me more guidance, Xiaoxing. Is it okay to call you this way? Haha, of course not a problem, call it whatever you want. Vulnerability, Night Star and Sasuke are the same age, born on the same day as Naruto. Uchiha Izumi is 5 years older than Night Star, died at 13 years old, 2 years later Night Star should be 8 years old, but I remember Sasuke was also 7 years old when he was exterminated, so I decided to change the timeline. Chapter 9. Living with Quan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Yixing had already taken photos and handed them over to the teacher. He was then notified to go to the classroom and prepare to assign groups. When they arrived at the classroom, Yixing noticed that Quan was already sitting in his seat. The two of them smiled and greeted each other before sitting together, waiting for the teacher to come in and divide into groups. Not long after, the teacher came in with a box of wooden leaf protectors. After each graduate received them, they began to assign groups. Class 9, Yuzhibo, Yexing, Jiarenlu. Great, Xiaoxing, we're together. Upon hearing this result, Quan excitedly grabbed Yixing's hand. Night Star is also very satisfied with this result. It is better to be in a group with familiar people than with strangers. Above, all groups have been assigned. From now on, you will work in groups of 3 to complete tasks and wait for your guidance teacher to come to the classroom. After explaining the matter, the teacher left the classroom. At this moment, a boy with an ordinary appearance and height walked over to the Night Star and nodded obediently. Hello, I am Jiarenlu. My parents are both commoners in the village. My dream is to become a ninja and earn more money for my family. Looking at the boy in front of him, Yexing immediately smiled and warmly welcomed him. I am Yexing, she is Yuzhibo, and from today on we will be partners. Quan also greeted with a smile. After all, he would be a group companion in the future. Quickly, everyone's guidance teachers came to the classroom to lead their group away, leaving only Class 9, which was the Night Star group. Dang 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 dang. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Hello, I am your teacher. Yusho washes red beans. Suddenly, Red Bean jumped into the classroom from outside the door and looked at the 3 people in the classroom with a smile on his face. That's right, Red Bean is the guidance teacher for the 3 of Night Star. This was specially applied by Red Bean to Huoying. Ah! Red Bean's sister. How could it be you? Yixing and Quan were both shocked. Obviously, neither of them expected that their teacher would be Red Bean. As for Jiarenlu, he didn't even know Red Bean. However, seeing that both Yixing and Quan knew their teacher, he breathed a sigh of relief. Since they were acquaintances, they probably wouldn't be too strict either. What kind of expression are you? Can't I be your teacher? Shouldn't you be happy? I'm a special ninja of Kiba. Happy, especially happy. It's really lucky to be Red Bean's sister. Of course, Yixing was happy. The teacher was his sister, which was a very fortunate thing. Okay, in that case, gather at my monument within 10 minutes and let me test your strength. As soon as Red Bean finished speaking, the person had already disappeared. Seeing this situation, Yixing was the first to react and quickly pulled Quan away from the classroom, leaving behind a bewildered Jiarenlu. Where's the agreed partner? Hey! Wait for me. The Woodleaf Monument. Red Beans waited here early, and after about 5 or 6 minutes, Night Star and Spring arrived here, followed by a Jia deer panting heavily. Not bad, all three of them arrived within 10 minutes, which is a bit better than I imagined. Night Star didn't take it seriously. If it weren't for waiting for Jiarenlu, he would have brought Quan here long ago. This group was evenly distributed, with 2 stronger ones and 1 weaker one to balance the strengths of each group. After all 3 of them rested for a while, Red Bean clapped her hands and said, "All right, you guys have rested enough. Now let's have a practical battle. Xiaoxing, according to the old rules, if you come across me, it's considered qualified. Those who don't meet the standards are not allowed to eat tonight." Upon hearing this, Jiarenlu's face immediately turned pale. Yixing and Yuzhibo Quan were fine, one was a genius who graduated at the age of 6, and the other was from the Yuzhibo clan. As an ordinary person, how could I possibly encounter a particularly intolerant situation? Seemingly sensing Jiarenlu's thoughts, Quan comforted him in a low voice and said, "It's okay, we'll create opportunities for you." Looking at Night Star, Jiarenlu noticed that Night Star was looking at him with a trusting gaze. Now, Jiarenlu stood up directly, clenched his fist, and made up his mind not to hold back. "Stop grinding and chattering, let's go up together with 3 people." Red Bean had already spoken, and the 3 of them looked at each other, attacking from 3 directions simultaneously. Just as they were approaching the Red Bean, the spring on the front suddenly stopped, leaving a mark on both hands and spitting out a big fireball from their mouth. Fire escape, the art of the giant fireball. Red Bean smiled repeatedly and quickly retreated, but the Night Star on the side also stopped, shooting countless ice cones and crazily forcing Red Bean to move, allowing Red Bean to enter the attack range of Jiarenlu. And Jiarenlu did not disappoint the 2, completely disregarding his own safety. He braved the attack of Night Star and Spring and rushed behind Red Bean, reaching out a hand to grab the corner of Red Bean's clothes. Shadow Snake Hand. Of course, Red Bean wouldn't be easily touched. With just one move, he used the snake to pull himself far away, completely escaping the attack range of the 3. "There's still a long way to go, my foolish little brother. You're someone I've grown up with, can't I not know what you're thinking?" However, just as the Red Bean landed precisely on a tree, several swords were already thrown towards it, and the Red Bean immediately jumped up. However, in the moment when Red Bean reached the sky, Night Star slammed the floor fiercely, and the cold instantly swept across the entire grassland, covering the ground with a thick layer of ice. Subsequently, a cold ice, like a snake, quickly rushed towards the air where the Red Bean was located. The Red Bean naturally couldn't avoid it in the air, so it was accidentally blocked by the Night Star again. Seeing Red Bean trapped in his own ice, Night Star immediately jumped forward and, while removing the ice, also tightly held Red Bean in his arms. As they landed, Yixing shouted to the 2 of them, come on, Red Bean's sister has been locked by me." Quan didn't hesitate and immediately came to Red Bean. He lightly touched Red Bean's clothes with his hand, and Jiarenlu obediently came to Red Bean, but didn't take any action. "Red Bean teacher, are we qualified now?" Seeing this, Hongdo also sighed and said, "Alas, Xiaoxing is really getting stronger and stronger. Alright, you guys are qualified. Let's do this for now. Let's go eat together first, and tomorrow we'll go to the Huoying building to pick up the task." After hearing that the Red Beans were qualified, Night Star released them. "Anyway, once they are qualified, it's okay. Before arriving at the barbecue restaurant where they worked, the four of them casually found a place to sit down and reintroduce themselves. Except for Jiarenlu, who is relatively ordinary, the other three are ninjas with some background. Fortunately, Jiarenlu was very open-minded and did not experience any inferiority complex. He just ate the barbecue and slowly integrated into the group. After finishing the barbecue, Night Star sent the spring home, Red Bean went to replenish the sugar, and Jiarenlu went home alone. Outside the territory of the Uchiha clan, Night Star looked at Quan with a serious expression and said, "Quan, can you promise me something?" A sudden sentence left Quan feeling at a loss, unsure of how to answer. What if it was a confession from Night Star? What is the best answer for both parties? You. First tell me what it is. Can you let me stay with you in the future? Don't worry, I will stay for 2 years and I will provide you with living expenses. Ah. Quan was stunned. She thought Night Star was going to confess, but surprisingly, she wanted to live here. However, this matter was not much different from confessing. Seeing no response from Quan, Yixing asked again, "Is it okay?" Quan. There's no way, because I don't know when Uchiha Itachi will come to exterminate the clan. Night Star can only think of this solution. He lives in Uchiha Quan's house, and the others are too lazy to take care of. Mainly Quan, Night Star must not let Uchiha Itachi kill him. After a long silence, Quan blushed and nodded slightly. He whispered, and then quickly ran towards his own house. Yixing nodded at Quan and immediately followed him back. This room used to belong to my parents, so you can sleep here in the future. Good night. Quan quickly fled the room, holding a set of bedding and making a bed for Yixing. Yixing looked at the already made bed and couldn't help but laugh. Then he walked into the room and said good night to Quan. Is this my confession? Does she agree to let me live in? Lying in bed, Night Star fell into thought and unconsciously fell asleep. Chapter 10. Investigation Tasks. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Good morning everyone. Starting from today, we will work together to complete the task. At this moment, Red Bean was standing in front of the third person in Class 9, giving an explanation. As a newly promoted Xiaoren, he can only take on some D-level tasks and wait for a period of time before taking on higher level tasks. And these tasks are basically tasks that ordinary people can complete, either helping with weeding, moving, cleaning, searching for items, pets, and so on. The other two Night Stars are not sure. Anyway, Night Stars want to make money. They can do whatever tasks they have, as long as they have money. Of course, the premise is not to exceed their own bottom line. One day, after helping a villager weed, Quan couldn't bear it anymore and asked Red Bean, sister, can we take on some advanced tasks now? We do miscellaneous work every day, and our combat ability is about to decline. Upon hearing this, Red Bean first remained silent for a while, then looked at Night Star and said, Little Star, what do you think? A higher level task definitely pays more, right? If there is, please ask Red Bean's sister to grab it. After finishing speaking, Yixing glanced at Jiarenlu, who also expressed that there was no problem. Only in this way can he reach Zhongren as soon as possible, after all, this is his dream. Okay, tomorrow I'll go find Lord Huoying and give you some strength. On the second day, Red Bean had already brought the Night Star trio to the Hokage office and made a request to the Monkey Flying Sun Slayer. Ape Flying Sun naturally does not want Night Star, this genius, to fade away. Since Night Star has this idea, he must be satisfied. I know everything about you, and now there's a C-level mission that needs to be handed over to you. It's an intelligence mission. Okay, we will complete the task perfectly. Night Star stood up straight in an instant, confident in his assurance. Monkey Flying Sun took a deep breath of his cigarette and said, Don't be so impatient. Before doing anything, you must have a clear mind. There are gangs gathering in the capital city of the Fire Kingdom, but you are not clear about the purpose of these gangs. Therefore, you need to inquire carefully and remember not to act rashly. I know now, it's not too late. Let's set off now. Red Bean took a scroll, glanced at its contents, and then left the Hokage office with the three of them. When they arrived outside, Red Bean instructed the three of them to go back and pack their things. Half an hour later, they gathered at the village entrance. But just as Night Star was about to go back, Red Bean hugged Night Star and secretly asked, "Little Star, it seems like you've been living at Quan's house lately. Can't anything happen to you?" There is no concept of early love in this world, and Red Bean does not care about overnight stars. However, the two are still young, and Red Bean does not want them to develop to that extent too early. Night Star directly denied Red Bean's statement. "We haven't happened anything, I just want to live with the Quan family, after all, the nearby buildings have the moon first." In order to conceal their true purpose, Night Star can only tell a lie and fabricate a fact that they want to pursue the spring. Really? Then you need to work hard. Red Bean rubbed Night Star's head with a smile, expressing great support for Night Star's brave pursuit of love. Half an hour later, all four of them arrived at the gate of my village, registered briefly, and then left. This is the first time that Night Star has moved away from Kiba village, and the same goes for Quan and Jiarenlu, so their hearts are all a bit excited. After half a day of hard work, the four finally arrived at the capital of the Fire Kingdom. This is where the daimyo resides and the center of the Fire Kingdom's power, where many high-ranking officials hold meetings. According to intelligence, most of the underworld figures in the capital are gathered in places such as casinos, taverns, and martial arts schools. It is still daytime, so we need to find a place to rest first. After it gets dark, Quan and Jiarenlu are outside to take care of them, and Xiaoxing and I sneak in to investigate. Red Bean customized an action plan from the beginning, but because they were unsure of the dangers in the underworld, they planned to sneak in alone with Night Star, with outsiders responsible for responding to prevent all four people from falling. That's right, but in fact, this type of mission is basically not dangerous. If there are ninjas involved, the difficulty of the mission will increase to level B. So Red Bean is still very confident, just to be on the safe side. Wow, let's go play while we still have time. After saying that, Yixing grabbed Quan's hand and ran into the bustling street, ignoring the shouting of Red Beans behind him. Red Bean also felt a bit helpless. This younger brother has grown up and seems a bit difficult to manage. "Ah, Jiarenlu, if you want to go play, go play. Gather at the city gate before dark." Jiarenlu heard that he could go and play, so he naturally planned to go and play. As a commoner, he was also the first to come to such a big city and was curious about many things. Xiaoxing, you're going to infiltrate the underworld at night. Aren't you going to take a break? Quan felt a bit shy as Yixing kept holding hands, but more importantly, he was worried about whether Yixing had enough rest time. No problem, I'm very strong. Night Star doesn't care about these things at all, and he's telling the truth. With his current abilities alone, he can be said to be basically invincible. Unless chakra is completely consumed or his stamina is exhausted, he won't lose no matter what he says. Okay. Quan also knows Night Star very well. Since Night Star said so, there shouldn't be any big problem. So, Quan followed the Night Star and played until it was dark. At the entrance of the capital city, Red Bean and Jiarenlu are waiting for the gathering of Night Star and Spring. Although they have not notified the overnight star, Red Bean believes that Night Star will understand. In no time, Yixing and Quan arrived at the entrance of the capital city. After all, this was the place where everyone separated, so the gathering was naturally also here. Red Bean's sister, I suggest going to the nearest tavern in Daming Mansion to investigate now. While playing today, I found many people with the same tattoos entering and exiting there. Upon hearing Night Star's words, Quan was stunned. Today, he only focused on playing with Night Star and didn't even notice this crucial intelligence. Night Star is really powerful, and Quan's inner thoughts were like this. Since there was a clue, Red Bean praised the Night Star and immediately asked everyone to change into night clothes, ready to sneak into action. According to the plan, Red Bean and Night Star infiltrated, while Quan and Jiarenlu watched in the dark. Because the other party was all ordinary people, Red Bean and Night Star quickly sneaked into the depths of the tavern. After infiltrating, Red Bean and Night Star glanced at each other and proceeded in two directions. Night Star quickly groped around and quietly sneaked into a room with lights on, lying motionless on the beam. At this moment, there were three people talking below. One was dressed in casual clothes, but from his temperament, he knew he was a high-ranking official who had been in power for years. The other two had a murderous aura on their faces, indicating that they had killed many people. Hey! Are you planning to go back and forth? Even if we're a gangster, we're not tools that you can drive us around. Are you looking down on us too much? One of the gangsters patted the table and glared angrily at the man in kimono. The other party didn't panic, just lightly patted their palm, and a person walked out of the shadow, holding a handful of kuwu, and raised their hand to kill two gangsters. Indeed, he is the ninja trained by one of the legendary three ninjas, with very clean and efficient methods. The kimono man was very satisfied with the newcomer's actions, and the transaction with Orochimaru's child had ended. Therefore, killing someone and silencing them was the best way to keep it confidential.